analysis with us on NewsX World. With that, viewers, we're shifting focus to the United Kingdom. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has now published evidence that the government had submitted in the now collapsed legal proceedings against two men accused of spying for China. Evidence. Earlier, Starmer had told the Parliament that he would publish in full the three statements prepared by Deputy National Security Advisor Matthew Collins for prosecutors. And the government has published those witness statements. In the first statement itself, Collins had warned in 2023 that China was carrying out large-scale espionage activities against the United Kingdom. A second witness statement written by Collins in February 2025 as evidence for the case over the two men accused of spying, Christopher Cash and Christopher Berry, stated that China's spying threatened the UK's economic prosperity and resilience. A third witness statement published in August 2025 has restated the UK's view of the challenge posed by China, stating that the large-scale espionage threatens the integrity of democratic institutions. Starmer's government has faced accusations of killing the case to protect its relations with China, and his Labour administration and the independent prosecutors have been rowing over why it failed to proceed to trial. With us on the broadcast is Dr. Bonnie Yushi Liao, Assistant Professor of Diplomacy and International Relations at Tamkang University in Taiwan, joining us from Taipei. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. What's interesting is these witness statements that have come out have sort of linked the Tory government, the previous Tory government under Sunak, to what we're now seeing as far as this case is concerned. I want to understand from you, was the release of these three particular statements selective in nature, or is more transparency really needed at this point?
It does feel curated. Selective releases can defend a political line while omitting context. The clean fix is publish a full timeline and legal reasoning, redact resources, fine, but show what changed and who signed off. Transparency is cheaper than letting Beijing exploit the confusion.
I also wanted to understand from you then, why exactly is Starmer blaming the previous Tory government stance on China for the spying trial collapsing? Because there have been critics who've pointed out that the Starmer administration is doing so in order to protect investments from China.
Well, this looks like politics, not principle. The previous conservatives tightened the China stance, and the current Labour government wants warmer economic ties with Beijing, obviously. And it's easier to point at the last government than admit their soft peddling security. But using Tories as a shield doesn't fix the gaps.
Then is a statutory inquiry necessary? Because we've seen a lot of lawmakers in the United Kingdom, especially the Tories, calling for a statutory inquiry.
Yes, short, judge-led, and security literate. Look at how China threat designations, guidance to CPS, and ministerial decisions to interacted. Keep classified bits in closed sessions, but deliver a blunt public summary. That's how you rebuild deterrence and stop this from becoming a partisan food fight.
All right, I'm requesting you to stay on with us as we're tracking some other crucial developments, this time from China itself. China's Ministry of Emergency Management has stated that natural disasters in the first 3 quarters of 2025 have caused widespread damage to more than 55 million people and to the country's agricultural sector at large. Now, according to the ministry, a total of 530,000 hectares of crops were damaged. Now, these disasters have resulted in direct economic losses amounting to approximately $30.5 billion. This is based on current assessments and estimations. Now, the losses were caused by a range of extreme weather events, including floods, droughts, and other natural disasters that swept through different parts of the country. There's, of course, the growing concern regarding the impact of climate change and climate-related events on China's economy and food security at large as well. Still with us on the broadcast is Dr. Bonnie Yushi Liao, At the outset, I wanted to understand from you, how could these economic losses that have largely impacted the agricultural sector um, and sort of impact the global supply chains as well?
When tens of millions are affected, you get rolling bottlenecks. Mines, rail, and coastal ports slow down, and solar inputs and some metals slip. Food shipments wobble. It won't collapse global trade, but it's a wake up. De-risk with friend shoring and dual sourcing beyond any single Chinese province, and longer buffers for tier two-third suppliers.
And this is a clear case of agricultural disaster vulnerability. Then, in your assessment, what's really needed to build resilience?
Three tracks. Climate smart farming at home in China, market tools like real crop insurance and regional grains research, and crucially, credible data. Beijing's opacity turns local floods into global price shocks. If China won't be transparent, others need better satellite crop monitoring and diversified imports to keep food inflation in check.
All right, ma'am, with that, I would like to thank you for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Viewers, we're tracking some breaking updates coming in. This week, we're learning that global CEOs, including Apple's Tim Cook, are all set to meet China's top trade negotiator, He Lifeng, in Beijing. The high-level meeting would coincide with an increase in trade tensions between China and the United States, particularly over China's restrictions of rare earth minerals, which are used in defense technology and in manufacturing of other technological items as well. All right, viewers, shifting focus to more developments coming in. Now, according to reports, a breach at US-based cybersecurity provider F5 has been linked to state-backed hackers from China. The company has detected the intrusion on the 9th of August and took action to contain the threat. While the company